Our second award recipient is former Hawaii Governor George Ariyoshi. You'll recall the mayor just alluded to him yesterday and said that Governor Ariyoshi and the late Senator Daniel Inouye really inspired, nurtured a new generation of politicians and people who go into public service who are of Japanese American and Asian American descent. Now, after we show the video, coming up to introduce him is Colbert Matsumoto. He is CEO and chair of Island Insurance. He's also one of the founding members on the board of the U.S.-Japan Council. And I've gotten to know Colbert over the years. He's very calm, very unassuming, but he's decisive, he's strategic, and he's a man of action. I mean, just look, partly through him and the team, the host committee here in Hawaii, this wonderful conference that could possibly go down as the best we've had so far this year. And many of you may not know that it was Colbert who led the team that helped rescue the Japanese Cultural Center here in Honolulu over a decade ago. And so let's watch the video, and after that you'll hear from Colbert Matsumoto.
A friend of mine wanted me to meet Jack Burns in the old Nuana YMCA. We went there, and Jack started to ask me about my feelings when I was growing up. He asked me whether or not I had a lot of discrimination, and I said, well, now that I'm practicing law, I'm back and working, I can see the discriminations in our community, the big five in control of the economy, and unless you're part of the group, you can get up to a certain level, but you could never get up beyond that. And so he told me, when I told him that, he said, run for office. And I looked around, I thought he was talking to somebody behind me. And I said, no, you run for office. And he told me, please listen to me very carefully. And in the words, these same words, he told me, you know, no person other than a white person has ever been governor of Hawaii. No person other than a person born outside of Hawaii has ever been governor of Hawaii. You gotta run, you gotta break that. And if you do succeed, maybe after that, we can have some of the local people, a Hawaiian, a Chinese, or Filipino person who can become governor of Hawaii.
Aloha. This award recognizes a lifetime of achievement in advancing U.S.-Japan relations. And it's a fitting award for a man whose life story spans decades of building relationships between America and Japan. So when I was asked to do the honor of presenting this award to Governor Ariyoshi today, of course, I felt so honored and privileged to have that task assigned to me, until they told me that I had only 3 minutes in which to introduce him, because clearly that won't do justice to his record and legacy of accomplishments with respect to the bilateral relationship between the U.S. and Japan. Governor George Ariyoshi came of age during World War II, and he was stationed as an American GI in occupied Japan. He witnessed the great suffering of a country devastated by the war, but he also witnessed the strength of the spirit of the Japanese people that enabled them to overcome the monumental adversity that they faced. Although he was raised an American, he recognized the spirit of determination he saw firsthand in Japan was based upon the same traditional values his Japanese immigrant parents had imbued in him as a Japanese American. As a proud Japanese American, his respect and admiration of the achievements of the Japanese people led him throughout his public and private career to work to foster close ties between the two countries for their mutual benefit. One great example of this is how in 1985, he successfully established the Pacific International Center for High Technology Research, otherwise known as PICTER. As an institution jointly funded upon its inception by both the US and Japanese governments, that was no easy accomplishment. It took political skill and determination on his part to personally convince then Foreign Minister Shintaro Abe, the father of the current Prime Minister Shinzo Abe, and Prime Minister Yasuhiro Nakasone, along with the White House and President Ronald Reagan himself, to commit to underwriting PICTER's establishment. PICTER continues in existence till today, continuing its work in collaboration between the two nations. Although he retired as governor in 1986, in the decades that followed, his active involvement in promoting relations between the US and Japan continued as a private citizen. He has played key roles in promoting economic trade, developing educational opportunities, advancing cultural exchange, fostering collaboration in scientific research and technology, and serving as an advisor to leaders in both government and business in the two countries. His record of achievements is truly too voluminous to mention. But most important, his life serves as an inspiration to all of us. It's a reminder of the role that all of us as the next generation can play in building stronger ties between the US and Japan. It is therefore a distinct honor and pleasure for me to present on behalf of the US-Japan Council this award to Governor George Ariyoshi. Governor. But it's two pieces.
Aloha, everyone. And thank you very much, all of you, for coming to Hawaii from various parts of the world. I have always been an international person, and I've worked hard to be sure that my country became an international country. And I went through the period when I saw my country focusing all the international activities, or most of it, across the Atlantic. And then I began to see the change into the Pacific Asian area. And Japan became a first focus of that effort. Colbert mentioned my stay with occupation in Japan. And I recall then the hardship and the devastation that had taken place in Japan. But I also got to feel the spirit and feelings of the Japanese people and the desire to rebuild that country as soon as possible. And thanks to the generosity of the American government and General MacArthur personally, who sought no spoils of war, but wanted Japan to make as rapid economic recovery as possible. And that happened very rapidly, and Japan and the United States became extremely close friends. And I recall the words of Ambassador Mike Mansfield then, who talked about that relationship between Japan and America being the most important relationship in the world. I believe that then, I believe it today, because on both sides, both ends of the Pacific, it's very, very important that this relationship make it possible for peace to prevail, but especially for the countries that need help, getting help from this generosity of both sides. I am therefore very grateful to the Japan-America Council for the role that you play, because it just doesn't continue by itself. It's going to be very important for a group like you to step in there and to be sure that things are done so that you can continue that good work. And so I'm very grateful to the Council. Today, I'm very grateful for the award that I got, but I'm especially grateful that it came from such a very good group like Japan-U.S. Council. And I express my gratitude to you. I express to you my hope and my desire that you will continue the work that you have been doing. And I thank you very much. Aloha and mahalo. Arigato.